What's going on, everybody? Oh, let me grab my mic here real quick. Hang on. There we go. That should be a little bit better. How's everybody doing? Welcome in. It's Wednesday. What day is today? October 27th, and we're totally live. I just got my little text message from Dave that says this 25-year-old CPA is joining us on Wake Up Legendary. You can see it right there. Boom. And we're live, baby. What we're going to do today is we're going to bring on a young guest who's taken a lot of action and has a full-time job and stuff and is holding down the fort, but is figuring out this whole digital marketing thing too. And I'm not sure, we didn't really chat beforehand, but I think he's also in Phoenix just like me. So it's the Valley Brothers today.
Yeah.
What's going on, dude? How are you?
Yeah, doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm doing really well. So you're up here in Phoenix too, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm in the north part of Phoenix, but yeah, still in the valley.
Very nice. My wife used to work up by the 17 and like the 101 up in North Phoenix.
Yeah, that's basically right there. So
Oh, cool. Nice.
yeah.
Now we're down a little bit closer to downtown, but yeah, same thing. We got nice weather now. I'm enjoying that. Cool. Well, you're a CPA, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm a CPA, full-time job. And then I just do kind of like the affiliate marketing thing as a time thing. So yeah.
Sweet. Nice. That's awesome. How long have you been doing your job at a CPA?
Yeah, so I've been a CPA for 3 years, been licensed for 2 of them. So yeah, just kind of, straight out of college, graduated in 18, and then decided that was where I wanted to go. I'm from Washington State originally, so kind of lived there for the past 7 years. My wife and I decided for change, moved down to Phoenix this summer during that 120-degree week.
Yes, awesome.
So, it's the trial by fire, literally.
Literally, yeah.
And so then I still work a full-time job as a CPA. And yeah, I just work fully remote. So like my whole office is kind of like just to my left here. I guess on the screen it might be to the right. But so yeah, that's really it. That's the story.
Jeez, dude, that's crazy. So you've not been around in this online space very long, at least not in our space. Like you found our challenge in late August or early September?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was right after, we moved in June, and basically we got down here and kind of we're talking about passive streams of income. We've always looked at ways to make money on the side. My wife is kind of in that digital sphere. And so I was like, well, hey, I saw this thing. I'm going to give it a shot. And I know nothing about social, like I'm not a social media guy. I wasn't beforehand. I'm just now starting to figure some stuff out. And like getting on and talking on camera and stuff was like, I'm a CPA, right? So like that's way out of my comfort zone.
So you're just a boring dude.
That's right. Yeah. So no, it's been good, but yeah. So I found this challenge in I think it was like the end of August. Decided to give it a shot, go all in on it. And by my first month, had a really successful first month for not knowing what it was or anything about it, and growing both a TikTok and an Instagram page. And I didn't have a TikTok prior to this venture, so that I only have a business TikTok, which was kind of weird. I finally actually got on. I was like, oh, this is what this is. So
right. That's so funny. Yeah, I think that we have a lot of people in our community who are now like kind of TikTok famous or getting there, and like they're just like, dude, I'm not a social media person. We have people who didn't even have a Facebook, didn't have an Instagram, like, dude, I don't know. I deleted all the apps. I downloaded this to start posting videos. That's really it. I find that's actually a little bit rare, I would say, to start generating so much lead flow and traffic and sales so fast, which is cool. But I also just want to give a disclaimer to everybody, just let you know, he got off to a fast, hot start and is growing really quick, which is awesome. And I think I always give disclaimers, but I also, just tell people like, hey, the internet's kind of on fire right now. Like TikTok and Instagram and these social media platforms are absolutely flaming on fire right now. And it's a better time to get started and get going than ever has existed. Before you found us, you had tried other stuff or no? Like,
Yeah,
what was
yeah.
that like?
Yeah, so let's see, about a year prior, so, summer of 2020 when we were all in the lockdown phase, I started dabbling in like some Amazon FBA stuff. That was kind of my first gig into the online realm. It didn't pan out for me because it was a little bit too time inclusive. Again, full-time job, CPA, my average is somewhere between 8 to 13 hours for my job. So it just kind of was a little bit too much for me to juggle personally. So I kind of took a look at that. Obviously, I looked at drop shipping and was like, that's kind of the same thing. I don't want to deal with that. And then just kind of put a pause on it. We kind of went into research phase. We were in the process of getting ready to move. My wife and I, when I say we, were in the process of getting ready to move and then buying a house. And we were just like, let's put a pause on it, at least for the time being. And so, yeah, FBA was my first introduction into the, hey, you can make money outside of this space. And then affiliate marketing was kind of that niche that kind of filled the gap for me. That was a lower time of entry for me to actually put in time, but then also the same ability to use that creative side of my brain and generate relationships, but also use like the extra hour that I would spend either scrolling or like watching a Netflix show or something like that. I just turned it into something that monetized. So, and it's kind of fun. So
yeah, dude, that's so fun. And man, there's a big takeaway there. I feel like, I wish people would grasp that because I do, you've sort of developed like your hobby a little bit is like, how do I make more money? And that sounds weird, I think, but like I've been thinking back. I had this thought yesterday, which is interesting. I was thinking through how I spend my time throughout the last like 12 years. And I thought to myself, the times when I've been generating the least amount of money has been the times where I've been watching the most sports, the most television, specifically like sporting events, like just like random like baseball playoff games, like the NLCS or something. It's like I don't really care about baseball, but here I am like drinking a couple beers out at a bar with a buddy or something, and we're watching baseball. It's like, what the hell am I doing? Like I don't care about this. I do like sports for the sports aspect, but it was weird. And I thought like, all of these times that I'm watching the NBA finals or and I don't watch a lot of sports. I kind of watch like the big events, right? Like I'll always watch the Super Bowl. I'll watch some of the NBA finals or whatever. But I just thought back and was like, I've got buddies who they'll eat a weed edible and hop on the Xbox for 4 or 5 hours a night, and that's their hobby. And there's no money generation happening from that, and that's been the case at every stage of my life. That was the case in college, where I was working side jobs, like trying to figure out like digital skills and like trying to figure out how do I make more money. My buddies are playing NBA 2K12 or 10 or whatever. And it's been the same throughout all that. And I started to develop just my habit is how do I make more money? My habit is how do I generate more cash? Because I think if you really put your head down to it and really start going, there's just a myriad of ways to do that. And then the second piece is, and it sounds like you have a similar sort of thing, right? That's what I'm gleaning. And then the second thing that I thought was interesting is, you started out in Amazon FBA, and I think a lot of people have this interest in selling something physical that feels cool to them to sell or whatever. And I think sometimes, like you've taken this route, and I think I've seen others do it as well. A guy, AJ, in our community, became I don't know, maybe mid 5-figure, maybe 6-figure. I haven't followed up with him, but marketer in the affiliate marketing space, and then started selling his product called cocktail cards, and sells those on Amazon, sold out. He's generated a lot of money through that, but that's his more passion project that he just thinks is cool and fun and loves doing it and gets a high off of it. But he started out in the affiliate space selling digital courses online that help generate cash flow to help start that Amazon business. And I don't think all Amazon businesses are bad, or I don't think FBA is necessarily bad. But I do think, given the amount of input, both money and time and energy and risk, you've got way more of all of those in the FBA space, and profit margins are lower. And in a digital space where you're selling digital courses, digital products, way higher margins, and the ability to generate a lot of free traffic, which is way lower risk. You can obviously run paid ads if you know what you're doing or you have good education or whatever, but for the most part, I think those two things are true. And then look, I feel like for somebody to be 25, man, I feel super young at 30 or 31, but to be 25 is like, it's nice because in the grand scheme, you're just such an infant. You're so young that like you could do this for 10 years, generate whatever, 6 figures or $1 million or something if you really went for it. And then start a different business if you wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Sure.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But it's just such an interesting. Anyway,
Yeah,
I went on a rant there, but what came up for you as I was saying that?
No, yeah, and I think this is like it's really good, and I think you kind of touched on it, right? It's like before we kind of started the FBA thing, my wife and I obviously were like doing a lot of research, and we were trying to figure out ways to like change our mindset because both of us had full-time jobs. She comes from a family of entrepreneurs. I don't.
Okay.
And so we had this mindset change when I think it was, I can't remember what exactly it was that said it, but someone had told us once that basically you have to change from being a consumer to a supplier. And the minute that change happened in our head, it was like, that's why, whether we're consuming social media or whether we're consuming like goods in the marketplace, whatever it is, right? The supplier side of things is the monetization side. And so then we started looking at all these different ways to do it. And then obviously we read Rich Dad Poor Dad in the spring, and we were all gung ho, ready to rock. And it was just like, all right, how do we do it? And so basically we sat down and wrote these goals at 1 year, 3 or 5 years, and then reverse engineered our mindset to say, okay, how are we going to get there? How do we fund this project? And that's when we found, honestly, when I found Legendary, I was like, hey, this kind of fits that time piece where I can't really leave my full-time job just to like pursue something that I don't even know anything about.
Right.
Some do, and they've got, way more risk association than I do. That's not my gig, but for us, it was like, hey, this fits that mold. Let's try it and see how it works. And I remember getting through the program and my wife being like, so what do you think? And I was like, I think I'm going to start a TikTok account. And she looked at me just so baffled. And it's been awesome since, and I think the community piece of that, even, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or on the Legendary page, I've grown to meet so many people where, we can kind of bounce ideas off each other and have that accountability and push each other to just be like, hey, here's this super cool sound. Here's this cool idea I had, or here's what's been working for me, and differentiate yourself, right? Like that's kind of the goal in the marketplace. So yeah, that's really what came up through that whole conversation.
That's super cool. And also, man, really cool that you guys are kind of both in on that transformation and that journey and that figuring that out. It's funny because, you guys are sort of doing that, figuring it out together kind of thing. For us, for me and my wife, Catherine, it was not really the same. I was discovering all of this and making these breakthroughs, and she's like, I am never doing that. This is not my thing. I work inside the system, not outside the system. And I was like, cool, no problem. Turns out, like, I guess 8 years later or something, she started her own therapy practice because all of her therapy stuff was just like bad management, super stressful, getting shit about, taking paid time off. She's just like, are you serious? Like, I earned paid time off. Come on.
Yeah.
Couldn't take some holidays off, occasional weekend. It was just like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
So here she is, right? Starts her own practice and she's smoking it. She's killing it. But it's really transformational. It's very stressful, like starting a new business. But when that flips from being a consumer to being a producer, being a supplier, right? Putting things into the marketplace. I always tell people, I would give this one bit of advice to people when I would say, here's how you should start your day. And I've said this for a lot of years, is the first thing you should do is not open your email. You shouldn't open social media right away in the morning. Just immediately, the first thing you should do, well, maybe you do have to open social media if you're a producer of content. But the first thing you should do is try to produce a piece of content that sets the tone for your day of you being a supplier. I'm using your word there, not mine. I would say producer or business owner or something, but same thing, right? Same thing is like, set the tone, right? Don't wake up and let someone else dictate how you're going to spend your money or how you're going to feel, right? Or any of those things. Like, screw that. Doesn't matter. You wake up in the morning and do whatever routine you need to do to kind of get ready. The first action you should do shouldn't be consuming anything that's going to affect you or change your mindset or whatever. You should just produce and get in the habit of, hey, I'm a producer now. I supply, I put things, I tell people what their agenda is, not the other way around. It's a really powerful shift, man. I like that.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. It's, it starts for me, it's a morning routine, right? Of like, every morning I get up and set my mindset a certain way. And I have to do that because I have a full-time job. So like, realistically, I'm either producing content in the morning or late in the evenings, right? And so that's that exact mindset of wake up, set the mind, and get it right, and then know what you have ahead of yourself. Because if you walk into the day unplanned, the day's going to come at you really fast and really hard and relentlessly, is really what I've experienced. But when I have a plan and have a set goal and know what's going to happen, it's all on me to basically determine how effective I'm going to be when those things come up.
That's right.
So yeah, love that. That's really good.
What's what time do you get up in the morning?
I usually get up, so it kind of ebbs and flows, but typically I'm up by 6 in the morning and then kind of do my thing throughout the morning, start work around 7:30. It's a little bit different right now just because of the season that I'm in with my full-time job. It's a little bit busier. But yeah, so some of those things kind of ebb and flow, but usually by 6. I've gone through spells where I've been up way earlier and then way later, and I just find that's like my middle ground. So
yeah, for sure. Again, like, I'm not that much older than you or anything like that, but the difference in energy from me from 25 to 31 is massive. I used to be able to, in a pinch, if I needed to, a couple nights of 4 hours of sleep, a couple nights of 6 hours of sleep. Now it's like, dude, if I wake up after 6 hours of sleep, it looks like, it looks like I was just blacked out drunk last night, even though I went to bed at 9. It's just like, it looks like I was just hit by a train, and people are like, dude, are you okay? I'm just like, I didn't get 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I just can't do it. But I think I always tell, people, anybody who's in their 20s, and if you got the energy, like generally most bodies do, it's just an age thing, I think. I mean, some older people have the energy too, but the body just naturally is producing a lot of energy, and it's ready to go and it's ready to work. And yeah, it's cool to see that happening. It's cool to see people going to work like that, or going to work like you are, and hustling and grinding and figuring things out, because you got a long time ahead, but you've also got a lot of creative energy, creative power. That's really cool.
Hey, thanks, man. No, I
I like
appreciate
it.
it. It's a
What's been the hardest challenge in the TikTok, Instagram? Like, has the social media part of it been kind of easy to figure out, meaning like the technical parts, or has that been hard, or has it been actually stepping out and creating content? What's been the toughest part?
Yeah, the toughest part for me wasn't necessarily the usage of, because when I first started, I spent like 2 days researching like how to post, when to post, where to post, that kind of thing. So like the usage of those social medias was not really my struggle point. My struggle point actually comes down to the creation of content. And so
Mhm.
I want to find content that someone finds valuable and someone is able to look at and say, either one of two things is my goal with my target audience. And it's either, hey, I trust this guy, I want to see what he's got more of, or sparking a question of saying, what's this guy talking about? Those are kind of my two kickers. And so when I make content, I have to kind of delineate a plan with my content calendar to say, okay, hey, how do I get someone to think about this question? And maybe it's not in the first video they see, maybe it's the second or third or fourth. And so that's actually my biggest struggle point, is coming up with fresh ideas that I'm not, copying and then kind of changing a little bit from somebody else's stuff, but trying to be original, differentiate myself. That was probably the part that I struggled with the most, just because I was brand new into the sphere. Like I didn't post. I posted, pictures on Instagram with my wife when we vacation and stuff, but like I didn't do like a reel or I obviously didn't do TikTok videos. Um, and so like there's like the struggle point with coming up with fresh ideas and thinking like a creator and thinking like, hey, I've got this super cool idea, I'm just going to do it. And finding out what people find valuable, like one person can have one question, but that one question can go amongst 100 people, so that was kind of the point that I had to get to probably in my first few weeks, was like, okay, hey, this isn't just something I need to produce. Like I'm actually trying to help somebody answer a question they've been thinking, but they may or may not know that they're thinking that question yet. So, but as far as like the usage of social media, I think I'm still learning it. I mean, I'm not a professional by any means. My accounts aren't huge. But yeah, I think as far as like the biggest struggle points, definitely on that content side, is like, hey, I've got a sound or I've got an idea. How do I actually implement this idea without just like either talking to a camera or like having some fun elements to it? So,
Yeah, for sure. I think I think that 95% of content, or I think 3 out of 4 pieces of content need to be just hyper original,
yes.
that are fun, exciting, or just kind of upbeat and positive, and teach something, or share some part of your journey or something. And I think you can sprinkle in and mix in different pieces of content. For instance, this guy Ian, who recently did this funny video where it was like $18 an hour working for Apple, and he had an apple on his finger, and it's just kind of funny the way that his personality style and stuff. But a lot of people have done that video, but he decided to put a little spin on it. It had 10 million views, and
Yes.
and then outside of that, most of his other content is just super unique. But those little bite size kind of types of videos can help just be a catalyst of growth. I think he went from somewhere around less than 100,000 to maybe I think now he's at, what is he at? He's at like let me see if I can see this. I think he's somewhere in the range of like 400,000 followers. Yeah, a little over 400,000. And that's been in about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
From
that's
like just 5 figures. I don't know where he was at 5 figures, yeah, he used that one kind of he used that one style of video and was like, hey, wow, I've seen people get a lot of views from this. So he put his kind of funny spin on it, his little personality that he has. And then the rest of the videos and stuff, he'll go live, which is where he does most of his selling or talking about products. Like that's really where he uses that as sort of a little webinar. And I think that that's a really powerful strategy too. Have you ever gone live?
yeah, lives are incredible. the way to engage with your audience, like directly, first off. But like, there's a lot of growth that happens in a live. You know, someone legitimately can ask you a question and you can go through it, or you can do what I've done in the past too, is do a live where I'm walking through, you know, a concept of affiliate marketing, like building a funnel, or like these are the funnels, like programs that I've seen and used and how to use them, how to sign up, you know, like walking down an industry. So like my wife was always like, do like beauty products for one, do alcohol for one, do like all these different industries. And you can literally just do them on lives. And there's a lot of people that go these things. So I think lives are an incredible strategy. If you use them consistently, especially, they're great for growth.
Yeah, agreed. And a lot of people, I think a lot of people on for instance, like I know like Calvin Hill goes live a lot on TikTok, and I've seen his thing. Like yesterday had 45,000 people view his live. Not everybody was concurrent. It was usually about 500 people at a time. But over the course of a couple hours, and he's just talking everything. He'll talk crypto, he'll talk digital marketing, he'll talk all this stuff. He does this interesting thing where he ties in his interest with crypto with like digital marketing. He's an affiliate for us. So he's like talking through crypto. He's talking through how, you know, we're about to go through a bear market on stocks and crypto and all this stuff. And he goes, you know, like you got to have cash sitting around if you want to take advantage of a bear market. And he's like, you need to find a side. I mean, unless you got a bunch of cash laying around, does everybody got a lot of cash laying around? And everybody's like, hell no, dude. I spent all my checks already. I spent my government checks already. So he's like, well, you know, we're going to have to figure it out. Right. So, you know, you need to figure out real skills. Like you need to learn how to do digital marketing. And so he kind of explains, right. And then goes, and then he just blows a fun, like he generates a ton of sales through his lives because people can feel sort of the real energy, the real raw in the person. It's different than just a pre-recorded video. It's a different feel. People are, you know, really inclined to follow you and to maybe comment or something or like your videos. Then they see you in this live element and you're like, dang, like, okay, he's a real dude and he's bringing real energy here. Like this is different. I don't think I've seen this before. And it's really powerful.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I get that. Actually, what you just said, I get that a lot, is this guy is a real person. And that I think goes, you know, some might think, well, obviously, but others, you know, there's people out there very skeptical about, you know, the online realm, and rightfully so. There's a lot of reasons to be, but there are real people out there that have real experiences, really trying to help you. And yeah, I mean, that's awesome. So
lives have always been a catalyst for like real online sales. Like live webinars, when I started in 2010 was a thing. You would get on GoToWebinar, you would sign into the webinar, and you like, I almost was like shitting my pants. Like, oh my gosh, this guy's actually a live, real human being. Like, because I was only subscribing to people's email lists and I would see them on a video here or there, but then like they go live and it's just a dude sitting in his home office in Gilbert or Chandler, Arizona, or whatever the first webinar I watched. I was like, holy smokes, like this guy's real. And even now today, it's the same thing that just breaks through this sort of like fake, I'm unsure, because you always wonder, like, what the heck is Taylor doing? Like, what's he really like, right? So he's probably got this set up and he's creating these videos, but then like the video goes off and like, is this dude actually like homeless? Is he a loser? Is he like a cool dude I'd hang out with? Like, what's he really like? And so then you remove all of that production value and it's just, you're just sitting there chilling and people are like, interesting, who's this cat, like what's going on here? And I just think people's intrigue level for lives is also just getting started. Like I witness, you know, on any given day, if you scroll through just the lives on TikTok, I mean, you have such a wide variety of human beings talking about everything under the sun you could imagine. I mean, people going live with yoga classes, people going live talking about crypto, people going live talking about everything, politics, debating politics, sports. I saw a TikTok channel The only reason it exists is to go live and stream episodes of SpongeBob SquarePants. And there was like 18,000 viewers who were just sitting there commenting about the SpongeBob SquarePants episode on TikTok because they wanted to watch it all together and they thought it was hilarious. Like,
That's awesome.
there's if you don't think there's an audience for you, you're crazy. There's an audience for everything. There's billions of people out there who would be happy to listen to you and your story and your journey.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's a crazy time.
And it's a really good point. I think that a lot of people will ask me, hey, what should I sell? That's a big question. Or like, what should I what do I even be an affiliate for? And I think the biggest question is like, what are you interested in? Because there's a market at every level for every type of product, basically, that you can imagine. Not every, most. Like I was talking to my brother-in-law and he's super into watches and he was like, is this a thing? And I was like, I don't know, let's find out, so I Google and I was like, yeah, apparently for like 40 companies, there's like a watch affiliate program. And it's crazy because there is someone out there who has the same interest as you, whether it is something as simple as, SpongeBob SquarePants, where you're just live streaming an episode for somebody, or it's something as intense as like gaming or luxury vehicles or luxury products. There's a market at every level, and you just have to find that market and be able to speak to them, right? And know how to market to that level of person.
Totally, 100%. Could not have said it better. That's exactly right. And figuring out how to market to those people, figuring out how to you don't really have to figure out how to find those people. I mean, TikTok does a good enough job and people do a good enough job curating what they like and swipe and all of that stuff. I mean, it happens pretty quick.
Yeah.
No, that's super fascinating. So as your daily routine, as you're looking forward down sort of down the pike, I guess I would say, what do you see as sort of your next steps, or is your next steps to keep doing what's working and sort of build that out even more? I mean, you've got some high ticket stuff coming in, you've got good commissions and lead flow and everything like that. What do you see as sort of your next step in your journey, and what's the next few months going to look like of Q4?
Yeah. So I think, it's a great question. So, I mean, obviously still it's a part-time thing for me. So it's taking what's currently working in the business and then growing it. So what I've really tried to do over the last couple of weeks is really master, one skill, one product, one delivery method, and then take that after I've mastered it, move it to another product, but still continue with the same product line. So my goal over, the next basically 2 months of doing this is to have both feet in the water, be all in with it, but be expanding my horizons. And so my wife is helping. I say this because she's like totally in this space, and like we were talking about the concept of doing like a blog and a YouTube channel and that kind of thing, and kind of walking through more of like the technical aspects. And she was like, okay, perfect, blog. And I was like, I don't know how to make a blog. Like I barely know how to make a TikTok. And so we're kind of going through this juggle right now. And so that's really what's going forward, is expanding the brand and actually making it a business, I think. So, because right now, the brand, my model is based on, the other products, the digital space, the creator space. But I think that there's a ton of value that I've learned, even from going through the Legendary course, that was growing my own business and actually making it a business and a brand and something that is recognizable. And so it's kind of cool for me to see, like, 3 months ago when I started this thing, I was like, yeah, it sounds cool. I have no clue what to do. And then now looking forward, it's a very tangible thing for me to move into more of like that blog, YouTube space, and say like, okay, how do I start actually making this a little bit more of a breadth thing, and growing what my horizons are, and teaching on multiple facets or just in one niche, and then kind of just going down that path of expanding the business. That's really where I'm at, and trying to just provide value for people in different ways on different platforms, so that people can hopefully get something valuable out of following me, but if I can help one person, that's really the goal with me. It's like, if I can answer one question for one person, that's where my target is at for everything I do, really.
Yep, totally. I think that to me seems like the right approach. I feel like turning it into a real business is a good next sort of forward step, meaning let's get a blog. Let's also go omnipresent with all of our content, YouTube shorts, right?
Yeah.
Instagram reels, reposting all of our stuff. You're already sort of omnipresent. But becoming a little bit more aggressive on those, and also building out a YouTube channel where maybe you can get some ad revenue going there and diversify that income across multiple different places, right? But also, here's the thing I always come back to with people. As the business grows itself, I always tell people the biggest mistake I see people make is to stop doing what's working. Right. So as you add layers and things on top of what you're doing, which you should do, they should be added layers, right? So as you're starting and you're getting going, that cash flow can help fund everything else, right? It can help fund somebody to outsource. Hey, you find somebody on Upwork and you say, hey, I need you. I'm going to buy this domain in my GoDaddy. I'm going to give you access to my GoDaddy. I need you to go and create an entire WordPress blog. Here's my brand. Here's my stuff. Here's everything. And then I need you to create me a 30-minute video that shows me how this whole thing works. Can you do that? Right. And then because you didn't quit your original thing, you've been making some high ticket sales, can take maybe $500 or $250 and have some college kid go set that all up for you while you're making money at your full-time job and continuing on what you're doing now in your content creation on TikTok and stuff like that. I always just tell people, don't stop what's working. Look around, take a look at any revenue you've brought in, say, what brought this in? Okay, it was because I did this. Let's keep doing that. Let's keep bringing in revenue. And then that way, as you expand, you're never sort of strapped on cash in the business end, right? You've still got your jobs and you guys are still cranking. So that's all great. But yeah, that's my biggest encouragement, what I usually tell people. And then I think you've got you've got such a good road ahead. I'm so excited for you. I'd love to have you back on the show. We sometimes ask people to come back in a couple months. So we'll probably hit you up maybe via email. We've got a month or so waiting list. But we'd love to have you back on and check in and see how things are going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, thank you. This was a blast, man. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. It's awesome. If you need anything in the meantime, let me know. Literally my job is just to help people and help them figure it out. So keep rocking. And if you need anything, just hit me up.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me on. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
You too. Thanks, Taylor. All right, guys. Hey, make sure to go give him a follow. I've had his TikTok up, but his Instagram is also right here. And just bounce over to both apps. Give him a follow on both those places. Content. Yeah, maybe Melissa says maybe he'll have that blog done by the next time. We'll see. But yeah, we'll have him back on and see what he's up to, see what's new, see what's happening. And yeah, you guys have a good rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back here tomorrow. I believe Dave will be back here tomorrow and Friday. And stay legendary.